Johnney, first off, just to get us kicked off, we're going to go further into, of course, USP. We're going to go into some other topics, but I just want to start off by getting more into like real estate in general. Like, where did real estate and your journey with real estate, where did all that begin?
Okay, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm Johnney Zhang. So real estate started as my family business. My family started as a real estate developer back in China. And then I always loved real estate. So I started with the family, helping them building their real estate empire back in China. And when I moved to the US, we started building my own real estate company, Primior, since 2012. So it's always been family blood.
So sometimes people run from the family business. I ran from the family business. Probably some other people here that run from the family business. What kept you in the game? Like, how'd you know it was going to be your thing?
Okay, so I just like how you can build something that will last longer than you do. So if I build something nice, like I'm actually more into luxury real estate. My family is all more in traditional like low income real estate, commercial real estate. I'm more in the luxury real estate. So it's all those are in real estate. The different sector of the real estate. But I like build something that's nice, that will last longer. People appreciate it. I like that feeling of achievements, doing something nice, people love, enjoy. And then, of course, there's more money there too.
Yeah. No one in this room likes money, right? Yeah, I can tell. Nobody likes money around here. So the idea and this concept of Web3 and this coming to the forefront, and then just for people that don't know my background. So, I was in finance for almost 14 years. So, I can tell you my Bitcoin story. Like when I learned about Bitcoin, I was on a trading desk, and around that time, the Iraqi dinar was also being traded. There you go. So I remember like thinking and kind of melding these two. So the real finance geeks in here may remember this time period, but I didn't know, I didn't understand, and because of that, it took me a long time to come around to really get the thesis and to really fall in love with a lot of that side of finance and even just the potential. Like, where did that, when did you see that connection? Did you get it immediately, or what was your build up?
My journey is similar to yours. I first heard about it from a friend of mine, told me to invest in Bitcoin. That was in 2012. I told him, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, did you think he was oh, that's a great idea?
He's like, no, I think it was a scam, right? And then I didn't really invest in it, but then I've been watching because these things mentioned it.
So that means you were a prudent investor, I understand, in the beginning.
Right. So I've been watching how Bitcoin evolved, right? And then I didn't get into it until, I think, end of 2021. That's when I see, okay, the adoption is really there. And I like the blockchain technology now is proven to be useful. So I think that can actually benefit real estate. So that's why I started looking into how can I use the blockchain technology, not the Bitcoin, but the technology itself to make real estate better. So that's why I decided to do that. And then I was actually, initially, I was looking for other projects doing the same thing. It's like, hey, is there any project, they did this, I use blockchain to make real estate investment easier and better. And I couldn't find anyone to do this correctly. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it myself.
Yeah.
If nobody's doing it, maybe there's a good opportunity there to make money. So I did it myself.
Any entrepreneurs in here? Oh, when you try to solve your own problem, sometimes it works very well. Sometimes there's a lot of pain in that, right? So now you have this idea. You can't find somebody else or some area to do what you want to do. What's your next step? How does that unfold? Take us on that journey.
So the main reason I couldn't find anyone that would do it correctly, because a lot of people doing the tokenization did not do this in a compliance way. So a lot of people issue tokens that are not really in compliance with existing security laws. That means that there could be a backfire from going after SEC, as we all know what happened to CZ and Binance, right? So I want to do this in the legitimate way that's in compliance with existing laws. So I couldn't find any protocol that does that. It's because of the smart contract they have. It does not, allow you to, verify the senders and the recipients. They have to make sure they're all KYC. You can't do that with the ERC20 standard. So a lot of the technology back then was available, but nobody's using them to do it correctly. So I basically said, look, I'm gonna do it correctly. I'm gonna do it for myself. Then I can offer this same, process, and then to everybody else as a service, as a software. So now I can actually help other developers, real estate owners to tokenize their assets, make sure it's in compliance way.
That word tokenizing. Let's start basic. What does that mean to tokenize an asset?
So tokenizing is basically is a different form, right? Say if you bought a stock, and then what they wouldn't give it to you, they're going to give you stock certificates, right, to prove your ownership, right? So tokenizing means instead of giving you paper certificates, you get a digital token that lives on blockchain. So it's on public ledger, so it's never going to go away. Nobody can alter the data. It's always going to be there. So it's more transparent. It's more secure, right? And now the most important is now to have a token. You can now trade it peer to peer on the blockchain to anybody wants, and you can't really do that with the stock certificates in a paper form, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I would explain.
And what does that mean for liquidity? Like, what does that mean for liquidity?
So it gives the liquidity you never had before, right? If you have a stock certificates, like say you bought a company and a private company give you a stock certificates, you can't really sell them, right? You can't really trade the paper stock certificates, and then people can't authenticate that stock certificates. Maybe it's fake, people don't believe in it, right?
Yeah.
But if it's on blockchain, now people can verify that easily on blockchain. Now you can easily trade it peer to peer. So it gives you better liquidity. It just basically has the whole, I guess, after investment experience, you can now trade it. Like gifts to anyone you want, and you can't do that before, right? So that's, for example, for if you have a stock. Now, say you bought Apple stock, or you bought any REITs, then you really actually don't own the stock, right? You have accounts with the brokerage. The brokerage is the one that actually has possession of the stock. They're the one holds the possession of stock. They're the one custodian this, right? So you can't really give that stock to anybody wants. You can't give the stock to your relative in other countries or wherever. You can't. The only option you have is to sell the stock and then get cash, withdraw the cash, and then give to someone what you want, right? But now imagine that stock become a token and it's on blockchain. So you can actually now withdraw that stock into your own wallet on blockchain. Like you give to anyone who wants 24/7.
And so relating that to real estate, like if somebody, like that same thought process of liquidity, but now tokenizing the real estate, how does that apply?
So there's always tokenize real estate. People do that with NFT. They tokenize the entire title of the property. I do that with a fractional. So think about like a real estate, like a REITs, right? Real estate investment trust, where when you tokenize that, so you basically instead of getting a share in paper form, you get a share in the digital token form. It's the same ownership, fractional ownership you're getting when you invest in a REITs, but now you can actually now you have ability to self-custodian your own assets. You can now give to anyone you want 24/7 on blockchain. You just make the traditional investment experience better.
So let's go further into the platform that you're creating and what that looks like, and even the marketplace. So now that we've kind of built out what tokenizing means, we've built out some idea or some use cases for why you'd want to just tokenize an asset just in general. So now going to your marketplace and what you're creating. Let's go further there.
So the marketplace is basically where any real estate sponsor developer can come here and then use my platform to tokenize their own properties. They can do that like self-serving themselves, do that on the platforms, tokenizing it, name their ticker, they can choose what their ticker the token is, and they can upload it blockchain. We use Ethereum to be on Ethereum. Then once it uploaded, they'll actually use our KYC database, and then they can start issuing the token to their investors. The investor can now trade it. Actually, once they bought it, you now trade it peer-to-peer. As long as the investor is putting out a KYC database, because we do that because we want to make sure it's safe compliance. And then they can also offer the properties on the private markets to sell those tokens to our investor on the marketplace, so they can raise money on the private markets.
What does that do for raising money? Like in terms of like accessibility, whether it's to the the developer that wants to get to the money or the investor that wants to get to the developer?
Right. So this is basically similar to like a real estate crowdfunding platform. You have heard about it. Cadre, CrowdStreet, all these kind of players. It's similar to that, except we are different because we're making it tokenized now. So say if you want to invest in private real estate, now the commercial real estate activity costs you millions of dollars, right? You can't really just go and buy yourself unless you're really wealthy. Right? If you're just like a credit investor, you have like a $200,000-300,000 laying around, you want to invest, you really can't do anything with it. So people like that will go to real estate crowdfunding platforms. They'll find, they'll go browse properties. There's a lot of investment opportunity. It could be development, could be a value add, could be a stabilized property. You can choose your strategies. The minimum investment typically is $25,000 or more. So you can actually place money in different properties and just invest. Then it's literally the same as the other one, except when you invest in traditional real estate crowdfunding platforms, you really can't sell your shares. So the holding period is normally 5 years or longer.
Yeah.
And with crypto, everything's become so popular right now. Who wants to have the money locked up for 5 years? Like nobody wants to, right? I personally invest in Blackstone. My money's locked up in 10 years. I hate it. I couldn't sell it right now. I was not trying to sell it today. I couldn't sell it. So nobody want to buy it. That's the problem. It's like on the private market, there's no liquidity at all. There's no one want to buy your LP interest in those deals. So now, if you tokenize it and you have a marketplace, you can allow people to trade those tokens, and then now you have a liquidity that you never had before.
Yeah.
And now, so people. Most importantly is if you're a credit investor, you bought those shares. After you hold for 12 months, you can actually sell them to uncredited investor. People don't know about that, but you can actually do that. So most of the crowdfunding platforms only available to credit investors. So if your net worth is not over $1 million, you're not eligible to invest in those real estate. So how do you get in? You can't get in. With tokenized real estate now, you actually go into the marketplace, technical marketplace, to buy those tokens that represent the ownership of those real estates. But you're qualified to buy because after 12 months, it's unlocked to sell to uncredited investors. So it gives the credit investors who invest in private market an option to sell in the secondary market. Maybe you make more money in the short term, and give the uncredited investor opportunity to invest in the real estate that was never available to them before. And because it's tokenized, so it's not only the U.S. investor can invest, it's the global investor. You can be in Africa, you can still become a fractional landlord in the U.S. property where it was never available before.
What's been the response that you've received from this? For whether it's from the developers, the institutions, or the investors, like what kind of response have you gotten towards this?
So the biggest hurdle is still the liquidity, right? And everybody thinks it's a good idea. We loved it. People's like, okay, well, how do I know I can sell this afterwards, right? The liquidity is a big problem. And another problem is the regulations. SEC still haven't had a clear regulation about tokenization, but I've talked to a lot of people who know SEC because they don't plan to, because they don't think they need it. Because they think their security laws that was published a long time ago is enough to regulate whatever is there. So based on the Howey test, 99.9% of the crypto project others is illegal.
Yeah.
So I don't think SEC was on a lot of pressure to regulate anything that's like this. So we did our platform in a compliance way with the existing laws, and I think the institution actually starts adapting this tokenization with existing security law. They're not like, oh yeah, let's wait for their updated regulation. They're not doing that anymore. Blackstone, actually BlackRock, and JP Morgan both started their own tokenization process. They did it on their money market fund, so they didn't do it on real estate yet. But I think this tokenization really benefit real estate and private equity the most, because they never had liquidity before. A money market fund is already liquid. Right. So
that makes a lot of sense. And as these bigger players get involved, then the other investors, the masses, other things like that, it seems like the market would open up for more people that want to invest in it. Am I off on that, do you think?
I mean, it makes sense, right? So if you ask people who invest in crypto, you probably have like less than 5% of American people invest in crypto, right? If you ask people who want to invest in real estate, you probably have over 90% of people say, hey, I want to invest in real estate.
For sure.
Right? It's more tangible, it's safer, right? It's not as volatile, right? So people just, like I said before, is like they're being shut out of the real estate market. They can't afford to buy a house, it's too expensive, the mortgage rate is too high, and their commercial real estate is even higher, like barrier to entry, right? Just can't get in. And then the private real estate crowdfunding platform is like only available to private investors. So I think this is really going to change the game, allow the average Joe to get in and to be a part of the real estate ownership to build their wealth. I mean, real estate, in my opinion, is the best tool to build wealth because it's more stable. It's tends to appreciate over the long term. It's more certain, right? The certainty is more important to me than the profit, right? Because everything else is stocks, crypto. Yeah, you can make a lot of money overnight, you can lose a lot of money overnight, but real estate is more certain. So this is, in my opinion, is the best tool to build wealth. I think these tokenizations may help a lot of the average people to start like getting real estate ownership gain to start building their wealth.
So Johnney, final question on my end. Your vision for the platform going forward. We're many entrepreneurs in the room. Let's dream for a moment. Where do you see this thing going? Give me the vision.
Well, okay, so
yeah, the big vision. Come on,
So-
I want you on camera with the big vision.
So the big vision is like if I could, I want to make USP the house brand for tokenization that tokenize as much properties in the US as possible and have the whole global investor and using USP to get into real estate game, to build that wealth, to change their life. That's kind of like I want to live on.